My name is Jordan Lynham. I'm the owner of Lynham Up Media. We're a social media agency based out of Maryland. We work with brands of all different sizes, from startups to Fortune 5,000 companies. And it is an honor to be able to present this webinar, the Viral Video Cheat Code, to you guys today. I'm hoping that some of you guys have already started your social media journeys. Maybe you have created some videos already, maybe you haven't, but today we're going to teach you a method that not a lot of people are talking about on how to actually go viral really, really quickly with less effort than some of you guys may have been putting into some of your videos, right? So I'm going to pull up a whiteboard here. And on this whiteboard, I am going to show you guys some of the results of the viral video cheat code. So I personally tested this method out before I started teaching it. And on my own personal channels, I was able to get millions of views and thousands of subscribers on YouTube and thousands of followers on the other platforms as well. So you'll notice, a couple of screenshots, 5 million in 90 days. On Facebook, we were able to reach over 1 million. I know this screenshot shows 800,000. This is a little bit outdated. It eventually peaked over the million. I tested it out on one of my client accounts, and she was able to reach over 1.5 million people. Also, another one of my clients, Dr. Gail, she tested this out on TikTok. She's experienced a downtrend. We grew her page from 0 to 100,000 followers before trying out this method. She was getting a lot of consistent views. The algorithm kind of changed a little bit, and you'll notice that it's a lot of 2,000, 3,000, etc. And then we actually got a video to pop on our first try doing the viral video cheat code. So it's really, really cool. And if I look away for a second, it's just because I'm allowing some of these people in here. Good morning, guys. Good morning. So again, you'll see some screenshots of myself, 70,000, 30,000, 1.6 million. That video is actually at like 2.5 million plus, 450,000, 1.3 million. And I say all that to say, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to show you guys that this thing really works, right? So before I get too in depth, I want to make sure that I show you some examples of the viral video cheat code, and I want to see if some of you guys are able to pick up on the pattern that's happening inside of these videos. So I'm going to share some YouTube shorts and a couple of short videos on the viral video cheat code where other creators are leveraging this and no one's talking about it. So let me make sure that I'm sharing my computer sound. And let's go ahead and watch
These
videos.
pilots destroyed 2 helicopters. Pay attention to the helicopter about to land because that's Carol, and she was supposed to be gone for another hour. Now watch Mark because he's about to take off, and I want to know who you think is at fault because as Carol made her approach, she said that she saw Mark's helicopter, but she wasn't sure if his rotor blades were turning or not. And check out how Mark is getting distracted by this other guy talking to him, and that guy's going to regret standing there in just a minute because as Carol moved towards Mark, she's not even paying attention to him anymore, and this is about to end in a disaster because Carol's focused on trying to land in her box. Find out who got blamed in the full video on my channel.
Okay, so that's video number 1. Now let's watch Hugo Lord, who's doing an amazing job with his
lawyer's reaction.
I've never been asked if I'm a citizen before when I'm traveling down the road. Am I free to go or are you detaining me?
You are being detained, ma'am.
Okay, I'm being detained on what grounds?
Checkpoint authority.
So, what happens to me if I refuse to answer your question?
You'll stay here until you're answered.
I'm a teacher. I'm on vacation. I got time.
If you want to stay here, that's fine.
That's fine.
I'm trying to explain everything to you.
No, I'm very curious about what happens.
In the United States of America, you have a Fifth Amendment right not to answer questions from law enforcement, including Border Patrol, if you feel that doing so will incriminate you in a crime. Now, when you apply the laws to this video, the Border Patrol officer asked if she was a citizen and she refused to answer, which legally she's entitled to do. And legally, Border Patrol is absolutely entitled to detain her in order to ascertain her immigration status. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're not at a border crossing, a Border Patrol agent can detain you if you refuse to identify whether or not you have lawful status in the United States in order to investigate you to make that determination. So legally speaking, no, she does not have to answer the officer's questions.
Okay, so that's video number 2, and you guys might be starting to pick up on the pattern that's happening here. Hey, Nick, don't worry about missing the intro. This webinar is recorded, so I'll make sure that you guys get a copy of this.
Simply having QuickBooks is not enough anymore. You bought the tool, but you don't know how to use it. It's like trying to buy all of the plaster and roofing to build a house, but you never learned actually how to build a house. You simply have the tools.
So I honestly don't really agree. I actually think a lot of times you can be better off doing it yourself, particularly when you're a small business. So your stuff is really, really simple. This really comes back to like, what's your skill set? What are you good at? And then the question you really ask yourself is this a good use of my time? And if the answer is this is a bad use of my time, which starts becoming the answer as you get better and bigger with your business, then you definitely want to hand it off at that point. But you want to be careful who you hand it off to, because the mistake I'll usually see is people handing it to people that are even less qualified. And of course, it's hard to know unless you actually know how to see if the person's doing a good job. So a lot of times it's worth learning just a little bit to at least even be able to delegate it to the right person. And for more accurate tax and accounting advice from a tax attorney, subscribe.
Awesome. Good morning, Jag. I will send you the recording of the intro of this webinar. Do not worry about missing it. So, are you guys starting to notice a little pattern that's going on here? Here's the last video, and then we're really going to break this down into depth.
Here's a side hustle for the broke teenagers. You can make $500 per day passively with just a phone and a laptop.
All right, I'm ready for this.
You serious? And I'm not talking about drop shipping, SMMA, crypto, or any of those side hustles. This is something
Drum roll, please.
new and unsaturated. So first, go to Google Maps and search for a business type. I chose solar companies, but it really doesn't matter. Then you're gonna find the businesses that don't have a website. And here's the best part, you hardly have to do any of the work on your own. All you have to do is call up these businesses and offer them a website for completely free.
Free? Who needs to charge money these days, right?
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Then to actually get the website, we're going to go and grab one of the pre-made website templates within Go High Level, change it around a little bit, and then give this to them. Then after we do this, we'll have a bunch of businesses that we're working with and that trust us. The next thing to do is offer them the other features within Go High Level. Things like Google review automation, missed call text back, or AI chatbots. But the thing is, for these, they're gonna have to pay us every single month.
That's actually a really good idea.
Okay. So that has been, he's got 140,000 subscribers. Some of these other people, Hugo Lord, he's well over 1 million. What's her name again? Jasmine. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Jasmine, she's hundreds of thousands of followers online. Zek Plays, he's doing this exact same strategy, hundreds of thousands of followers online. And what these people are doing is they are leveraging other viral videos online, and they're commentating on them, they're reacting to them, and it is working brilliantly. And I'll tell you why. Inside of the algorithms, there's a couple of metrics that really matter for your video to get pushed to the masses. One of them is the watch time, right? So you might have been creating videos yourself that are taking you a god-awful amount of time. You work on the script, you work on the idea, you film it, you edit it, and then you post it, and it gets to 200 views, 300 views, 1,000 views, and you're like, what the hell is going on? I'm working so hard on these videos, and no one's seeing them. But I would be curious to see your watch time metrics, because most of the time you're getting about 3 to 5 seconds average watch time. And what that means is your hooks are not good enough, right? And everyone struggles with this. We struggled with this in the beginning of our agency and just content creating journey, where our videos are really good, but our viewer was never getting past the 3 to 5 second mark. When someone is swiping away, that algorithm is learning this video is not interesting. This video is not interesting. And you're losing that viewer forever, right? So it's really important that we capture that viewer in the first 3 to 5 seconds, because if not, you're never going to get that viewer, and it's really hurting your video inside of the algorithm. So obviously, yes, we need to work on, the 7 to 15 seconds to transition into the body of the video. But if you're never even getting the average viewer into there, the chances are your videos are just never going to get pushed. So I've noticed that these big creators are leveraging other videos, and it's not just these guys. There's hundreds of creators online right now that are leveraging the picture-in-picture, or they're, doing the stop motion, kind of similar to how Ben is doing, or Hugo Lord, where he just plays the whole video and then gives his reaction afterwards, right? So this is working really good. I tested it out. I used Ben's style because there's a couple of different variations that you can do where you kind of stop at it, you talk a couple of words, you keep that viewer engaged, you play the video again, and all of them work. Right. As long as you're using really good videos and you keep your video engaging, then you will get it to work. And I'm letting some more people in here. And one really cool thing is back in 2021, we had a really successful viral video campaign strategy for a local shop here in Maryland. And we had actually done something very similar to the viral video cheat code back then. And that business owner was able to generate about $50,000 in 4 months on his online store just from TikTok videos. And I'll show you the video that we stitched back then. Some of you guys
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know? What's a piece of
what piece of information have you learned that feels illegal to know? That was a very, very popular stitch back in the day. And we tried that and it worked really, really well for us. And back then, I wish I had known that that was the viral video cheat code for, getting sales and stuff. But we tried many other things. It wasn't never as successful as that. So some of you guys might be familiar with stitches. And this strategy is very, very similar to stitching videos on TikTok. You use 3 to 5 seconds of a viral video, then you come on screen. That's one variation of it. Or again, how we saw where other people like the helicopter pilot, he was always on screen watching the video, but he was giving, some words inside of that. And what I want to show, some of you guys might know Alex Hormozi. He's a very successful entrepreneur here in the United States. What he has done for marketing and just helping business owners with his content online has been absolutely amazing. He's the owner of acquisitions.com, $100 million plus business portfolio where they acquire companies, they build them up to a certain scale, and then they sell them for a profit. And even Alex Hormozi is talking about how important the hook is, how he focuses all of his attention on the hooks of his video. And this guy has millions of subscribers and followers online. So if he's telling you guys that even himself is worried about the hooks of the video, then we definitely need to be worried about the hooks of our videos. And I'll show you guys quickly what he was talking about.
You guys just have to obsess about the first 5 seconds. No extra words, very clear, maps to the thumb, maps to the headline. It's just practice. I would look back at all my top converting clips, grab the hooks, and then try and remake 5 more with that same hook that still delivered tactical value, and then made that my next content thing, and then just kind of keep recycling that structure.
So this guy, really paved the way for content structure, how it is today, where the captions are on the videos with the emojis. We kind of went through a phase maybe about a year ago where everyone was doing it. He was one of the first people to ever start doing that, like creative design template, and everyone followed from it. And he really revolutionized the short videos at that time. And now to see where short videos are is really, really amazing. It kind of got oversaturated with the emojis popping out and the whooshes and all that. So now there's kind of a turn in the content game. And more than ever, I am seeing people leverage this viral video cheat code where they're using other videos, they're storytelling on them, they're, debating the misinformation on them. For example, if you're a lawyer or you work in the real estate industry, there's so much misinformation out there that can be talked about that, you guys could be getting 10, 100,000, a million views on. You just need to leverage that viral video and talk about it with your own video. We also had a client 2 weeks ago do the viral video cheat code, and he was able to get a really big commercial account off of it. He got well over 1 million views. Almost every platform that he posted on got over 1 million views. And we have some other people from these webinars that have started to do the viral video cheat code that have seen really, really good increases in their statistics online. So the viral video cheat code is very, very simple. We find videos online on all the social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, X, or Twitter, whatever you call it, YouTube and TikTok. You see that there's a lot of engagement on those videos. You're going to download those using one of these links. And don't worry, guys, I'm actually going to right now give you the link to this in the chat. Let me just do this really fast so I don't forget. So there is this whiteboard. So you'll have all the links to be able to download the videos on the platforms. And then how do you film the videos? Well, you could use a camera like I'm using, or you could just use your cell phone. That's how I did all of my videos when I was testing this out. I was in my garage nothing nice. I just had a white backdrop behind me, no lights, no fancy microphone, and I would just film my like engaging talks to keep the viewer engaged. And it works perfectly. I did a little background remover effect, kind of similar to the green screen effect, which I'll show you in a live editing portion. We're actually going to edit a live viral video cheat code video to show you guys exactly how it's done. But it's very simple to film these videos. Phone, and that's pretty much it. If you have a tripod, it would be good. You could always pick up a tabletop tripod on Amazon. These are about 10, 15 bucks. That'll get the job done. I am using, kind of like a professional light right here, but you can also use a ring light, 20, 30 bucks on Amazon. Your iPhone microphone is good enough. And you could always use AI softwares to help clean it up to make it sound a little bit more professional, like Adobe Podcast. But again, it's not necessary. So how do we edit these videos? We're going to actually edit these on CapCut. And the reason why we use CapCut is because they have a phone version, a tablet version, and then a PC version. Today, we're going to use the computer version, the PC version, which I think is the most efficient way to actually edit it. But it is possible to edit these videos right there on your phone. It just might take you a little bit longer to navigate through CapCut. So I just took a couple of screenshots of some of the features that we're going to be using. For my example, I'll use the background remover. For some of you guys, if you do it how the helicopter pilot is, you might not even need to remove your background. You might be in your office setting, similar to Adam, who was one of the participants in this webinar, who actually started doing viral video cheat codes, and Angie as well, where she just uses her office setting. We use auto captions. We don't even need to type out all the words on there. AI and CapCut does all of it for you. I'll show you how to do really, really beautiful captions on your videos, just like these templates right here. Now, how do we make thumbnails for the videos? If you want to dress them up and have a nice thumbnail, you can actually do that inside of CapCut, or you could use Canva, which I'm using this whiteboard on right now. Again, both of those are very simple and easy to use. You just take a frame from the video, add a couple of words that are catchy, that are going to apply to what you're talking about, and voila, it's done. So you'll see right here, I just grabbed a frame, and then I was able to actually just put a couple of words on here. And that video did pretty well. I think it got, maybe like 70,000 views online. How do we title our videos? So titling videos is important with this because you don't want to overcomplicate things. 5 to 7 words are working the best inside of our agency for our clients. We try to keep things very simple, and we also dumb them down a little bit, right? Especially in some of these confusing professions that you guys might be in, where if you're like a lawyer, you're talking mortgage terms or real estate terms, like not the everyday person is going to understand everything. So we need to make sure that we dumb it down just a little bit, because there's a surprising statistic over here that Americans read at a 6th grade reading level. About half of Americans read at a 6th grade reading level. It's sad, but it's the truth. I also got that from Alex Hormozi, where he talked about how in the beginning of his content, he was always, using these big words and all that, and people just couldn't understand. So he actually started to dumb it down so the everyday person can understand. And he saw a huge spike in his retention. And then obviously he was garnering more views. So that's what we do with our titles. If you're not familiar or have a lot of experience with titling your videos, leverage ChatGPT, leverage AI. Give it a summary of the video, what you talked about, kind of like a basic outline. Hey, in this video, I'm just using the example today. I'm going to talk about a real estate property where it's close to the US-Mexico border, where it's misleading on the price because people think that it's in one of the major cities. Give me 5 viral title ideas that I can use for this. And, ChatGPT will spit back a couple of ideas. Maybe you don't copy and paste it exactly. Maybe you change a word here or two that fits you directly in like your instance, but it will give you really, really good titling ideas. And then where do we post these videos? We're actually going to post these videos right back on social media where we found them. You can use a scheduler app like we use, Metricool or Later.com, Hootsuite, whichever one it is. Whichever one you're comfortable with. Just make sure that you post these videos on all platforms so you can get as many eyeballs on your content as possible. So before we get it down into the nitty gritty of actually editing a video, I want to give you guys some resources and an opportunity where if you want to actually work with me one-on-one and your brand directly and develop a small viral video cheat code strategy, we can sit down for about 30 minutes and actually work on that one-on-one together. Here is a QR code for that. I'm going to actually get rid of this Discord chat because we're not promoting it anymore. But here's the QR code to fill out the form if you want to actually work one-on-one with me. My email is right there. If you ever have any social media questions, just want to, bounce some ideas back and forth with each other, totally fine with me. We also have a free ebook right here, the viralvideocheatcode.com, where you can get the written version of today's webinar, just in a very simplified version. So on an ebook. So I'll give you guys a chance to actually grab this. And then what I'm going to do is also leave the viral video cheat code there. And then if it's easier for you guys, what we can do is give you the form link right inside of our meeting chat today. And then you'll notice over here, Adam, one of the people that joined our webinar from Alignable, he actually is a estate planning attorney. So we actually started doing some viral video cheat code videos for him, very similar to what you saw with Jasmine. And we're going to blow up his social media channels.
How do I avoid paying taxes on my inheritance property?
So here's why selling immediately might save you millions in Texas, but beware if you're in another state. So currently the federal government has a $13.6 million estate tax limit. And what that means is that anything that you own and that you're passing down that's over the $13.6 million threshold is going to be taxed at 40%. So anything that's underneath it, you're not going to be taxed on it federally. Yeah, before this rule came into effect, it was around 5 or 6 million. And then before that rule came into effect, it was around $100,000. It's important to sell the property immediately if your goal is to avoid the capital gains tax, because the property then is going to continue to appreciate in value. Here in Texas, we don't have an.
So that was an example of how we took someone very similar to you guys. We gave them the script, we gave them the video idea. We actually sat down in a session, showed them exactly how to film it, and then our team actually edited the video for them and we posted it for them. So let us, take advantage of this. If you guys want to download the free ebook or work one-on-one for about 30 minutes together with your own viral video strategy, please go ahead and feel free to do that. In the meantime, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull up CapCut and we're actually going to edit a viral video cheat code video together. So let my CapCut join in here. Give me a second. Okay, and then let me switch my sharing. Oops. Huh. Oh, that's pretty cool. I can actually edit over that. That's pretty cool. All right. Let's pull up CapCut. Oh, that's so cool. Sorry, guys. Let's try to put me like down here. Yeah, it's the first time I've actually seen that. I wish I had known that way before this. Okay, so I'm going to play this video really quickly here. Let me get rid of this meeting chat. And then we're going to delete it and then we're going to recreate it. So this is an example. I found a house that was in Texas, beautiful home. They're labeling it at $475,000. That's what it buys you in Texas. But it's a little bit misleading because it's in a location where not many people go to. And when you think about moving to Texas, you might think about moving to Houston or Austin or, Dallas, Fort Worth area, maybe even San Antonio. And this house is really close to the US-Mexico border, which is nothing wrong with that. But it's just a little bit misleading because the pricing in the major cities and around those areas are a little bit different for the size of a home or the quality of the home that they show in this example. So let's go ahead and make sure that my sound is playing for you guys. It is, and let's watch this.
This is what 475K really buys you in Texas. Now, when most people watch this, they're probably thinking, wow, I'm about to move to Texas right now. But beware of this common trick because what realtors aren't showing you is the location of these properties. Now, this house is in McAllen, Texas, which is close to the US-Mexico border. Now, look what 475K gets you in Dallas, Houston, and Austin. If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
Okay. So if I was a realtor I would be making videos similar to this all day long. It took me about 5 minutes to film. Took me, I was just on social media scrolling, just doing my regular activities on social media. Found the video, was like, hey, this would be a perfect one to talk about, kind of react to, give my take on it. And I would just rinse and repeat. And I would do like 3 to 5 of these a week. And I guarantee you, if you stuck to this plan for about 90 days, you would be mind blown at how many followers, how many leads, how many customers you were able to acquire just off of these simple, silly viral video cheat code videos. So let's go ahead and delete all of this. I know it's like kind of like the gas. Oh no, but don't worry, we're going to get it back really quickly. So I have already imported all of my footage. I kind of did the homework beforehand, but let's say you're brand new to this editing kind of world and you're like, I don't even know how to get my footage in here. So there's a button in the top left corner called import. And what you're going to do is click that import button. Uh-oh, did my camera feed die on me? What you're going to do is click on this import button, and then you will be able to see your footage after you've uploaded it to your computer, obviously. And I put everything into a folder, which I would advise you guys to do. If you have any screenshots you're going to add, the viral video you're going to add, just put everything in one folder. So it's really simple and easy to grab like this. So I see all of my footage here.
This is what 475K really buys you.
Drag them down one by one, each piece of it, or I can do kind of like a shortcut. If you were just doing your normal file selection on a computer, you can hold down Shift and it's going to mass select all of those files. So I'm going to select this first one, hold down.
This is what 475.
And then now you'll see all these.
If you're interested in more real estate.
So now I'm going to drag that down onto my timeline. So I could have done it one by one, but just trying to teach you guys some more efficient workflows. Hold down Shift, drag all of your clips down from there. So next thing that we're going to do is trim some of these clips because I'm not talking in this. I had to start the camera. I had to stop the camera. So what is the fastest way to do that? If you look at the bottom of this video clip, there is a waveform, and that waveform is actually the audio form. So that's where we can tell, all right, I'm talking during that, I'm moving, and then where it drops off is when I stop and I probably ended the camera. So just a quick way that you guys can, trim your footage is looking at the audio form. And how I like to cut my clips is I could do it 2 ways. I could drag this from here, drag it from there, or I could use the splice tool or the razor tool, kind of like a knife. So I could click on that razor tool, and how I got there was right there in that left middle section. You'll see the split, and then I could cut, come back to the select, click on that, and hit the delete button. Hit that, come back to the delete button. If you accidentally delete your video by, accident, you can hit Command or Control Z, very similar to other programs where you can undo that. So if I just hit Command Z, I'm on a Mac. For you, it's probably going to be Control Z if you're on a PC. Then you can get your clip back. So we could trim. And another really cool thing is there's actually a keyboard shortcut to get the splice tool. It's actually the B button on your keyboard. So you'll see that my mouse cursor just changed from normal mouse to now that split tool. So that's how I normally do it. I like to just use my keyboard, and at first I'll just cut. I hit the B, cut. See a little gap in here. Cut that out. And let's just listen to that.
For more.
Okay. And then I cut that. So then I'll hit A back on my keyboard. And then now I can start deleting all of the dead space areas because we want no wasted time on this. Especially if you don't have a large following, we got to keep our viewer engaged the whole time. So now I can just drag and select all of those, drag those over just like puzzle pieces. Okay. Now do it again for this last one. We have trimmed all of our footage. So next thing is we're going to grab our viral video. Where's that viral video? Here it is. And we're going to use about 3 seconds of that viral video, because now after we get 3 seconds, we're already bridging into the next portion, like the body of the video. And most people actually drop off on like a 200 view video at 3 to 5 seconds. So if we can just get people to that 3 seconds, introduce ourselves on screen, before you know it, we're going to be at like 7 to 9 seconds before that viewer actually makes their decision of, am I going to watch this video or not? Hopefully your videos are really engaging and you can keep them into the 15, 25, 35, 45 section for average watch time. But I think you guys, if you leverage this, will be able to do it. So we're going to take a little snippet. I just drag that onto our timeline, and everything works in layers like baking a cake on these editors. For example, I drag that onto layer number 2, the top layer. Let's say I wanted to drag my video on top. I put it on top of, the viral video, and then you'll see me. So if I drag it below, now you don't see me. So everything works on layers, and what it shows is the very most top layer. So always make sure that you're working on, the very most top layer if that's what you want shown. So let's grab about 3 seconds.
This is what 475.
Okay. And you'll hear me underneath. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and split this video. And then we're going to just go ahead and drag these out the way a little bit while we kind of doctor this up. So I'm actually going to put this back onto layer 1, and then I'm going to introduce myself. Now, how do I do the green screen similar to how I'm on this video right here? Let me just make sure really quick while I'm sharing this that I'm not blocking too much. Okay, good. I'm not. Up here in this top right corner, all the way up here, there is a remove background button, remove BG. If I click on this and hit auto removal, it's going to actually take away everything like if I was on a green screen. Now, if you're in a area where there's a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different things going on in your background, it's not going to be perfect. It'll still be really good, but it's not going to be perfect. So just keep that in mind. That's why I filmed it on a white background, so it does a better job at getting that away. So now how do I add something beneath me? There's 2 ways that I could actually do that. I can add a freeze frame, which is on this toolbar right here. And then now it's a still shot of that frame. Whichever part I want of this video, I can actually add a freeze frame to it. So now let's watch this.
This is what 475K really buys you in Texas.
Okay. Kind of drag that out a little bit because I said I snipped off the T in Texas. Zoom in, just make sure everything is neat. Okay. Now we already have 6 seconds of our video. Now let's listen to the next part.
Texas. Now, when most people watch this, they're probably thinking, wow, I'm about to move to Texas right now.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and find another green screen freeze frame that we can use. This looks like a really good one. So I can just click on this video, hit on the freeze. I see my freeze frame right there, and I can drag this out however long I want. So I'll just match the timing of the next clip.
Texas. Now, when most people watch this, they're probably thinking, wow, I'm about to move to Texas right now.
Again, you'll see my background. Let's go ahead and auto remove it. And while that's doing that, we can actually go ahead and auto remove. Well, let's auto remove this one, auto remove this one, because we can edit while it's actually removing the backgrounds on all the other videos. Okay, so that's working in the background. And then now let's keep building out our video.
Now.
Let's hear our next part.
Now. But beware of this common trick, because what realtors aren't showing you is the location of these properties.
And you heard I said the location of these property, and I didn't let the properties kind of go. So I'll just trim out that little tail end of it.
These properties.
Okay, it's about perfect. Did you say we were? Yes. I will send you guys a recording. So do not worry. Just make sure that you leave your email down there so I can send it to your email. And then what we will do is grab another freeze frame for this next clip. Let's use this beautiful kitchen shot right here. There's no right or wrong. I'm just keeping the viewer engaged by changing up the backgrounds every so often. So it's kind of like a mental reset, reset, reset. They're going to stay more engaged versus if I just freeze framed one thing all the way out. So now let's listen to this.
Texas right now. But beware of this common trick because what realtors aren't showing you is the location of these properties.
Okay. Let's listen to, let me drag my cursor over a little bit. Let's listen to this next one.
Now, this house is in McAllen, Texas, which is close to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Okay. So now I actually have a map. I'm going to put that map behind me. I went on Google and I just found McAllen, Texas map, took a screenshot of it. And then you see how I'm kind of pointing to the wrong side? What I can do is actually just mirror this video frame. So I can just hit on this toolbar, 2 clicks away from the freeze frame, there's a mirror. And then now I'm actually pointing to the right side. And I could always even, you know, make myself look a little bit bigger. And then boom, now I'm actually pointing to the correct spot.
Now, this house is in McAllen, Texas, which is close to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Okay, and then let's just trim out that tail end just a little bit. And trim this map. Let's grab another clip. And you see, we're just kind of puzzle piecing this together. It's very simple. And at the end of it, it's going to be very clean, really good result.
Now, look what 475K gets you in Dallas.
Okay, so now this is where I'm actually going to, oh, I'll wait. I'll show you guys. I've done this a couple of times, so I know where. I want to show Dallas, and I don't have my glasses on, so, okay, I had to squint. I want to show the Zillow listing. Zillow's done a great job at branding. So even if I blur this for a little bit, which I want to do to kind of keep that viewer engaged the whole time, before it unblurs, keep them in, you'll kind of know that this is probably a Zillow listing, and then we'll see the houses behind us. So,
now look what 475K gets you in Dallas.
And it actually did a different effect than I wanted. And how I got that effect, actually, sorry, I'm going a little bit too fast, is that up in this top left side, you will see stickers, text, transition, effects, captions, filters, all of that in there for you guys to be able to, you know, make your video as beautiful as possible. That's why I really, really like CapCut versus some of the other editors, because it has everything in one. You don't really need to leave the editing platform. So I just went into the effects tab, and then I'm going to type in blur, and boom, now I have a nice blur.
Now look what 475K gets you in Dallas.
Okay. And then when I point to Dallas, oops, I want to trim it exactly on Dallas. I'm actually going to mirror myself again, because then now you'll see me there. I'll drag myself up. I'll even add a little rotation. You'll see there's like the 2 arrows for the rotation. If you don't want to rotate yourself that way, you can always use the position or the rotate button right here. And it's based on a 360 scale, just like a circle would be. So if we did 180, it would make me upside down. So we don't want that. Let's go about -18. And then now you'll see
it gets you in Dallas.
And then we'll talk about Houston next.
Houston.
And what I'm going to do is just grab my Houston screenshot. Sorry, I can't see too well. Grab my Houston screenshot and just drag that to when I said Houston. Scale it up a little bit so there's no black background on there. Drag myself down just a little bit so you can see. And then the last one that I say is Austin. So let's get rid of that.
Houston and Austin.
Okay. And then let's find our last screenshot. And here's Austin. Again, I can also scale this up. If I wanted to use a scale slider, I could use that, or I could actually use these 4 dots. Any 4 of these dots will help you scale up and down. Just make sure that your cursor changes to that double arrow. And I could also just drag this anywhere I want to, just showing you guys how you can do that. Again, let's go ahead and mirror this. And let's add a little bit of rotation. So now you'll see it'll jump from Dallas, Houston, Austin.
Now look what 475K gets you in Dallas, Houston, and Austin.
Okay. And then let's trim off that screenshot. Let's hear our next clip.
If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
Okay. So then now what we can do is play the rest of this house. We kind of already showed that kitchen shot earlier in this video. So let's just drag that now. And then let's fill this in. And then let's see.
If you're interested in more real estate content.
And then I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you guys, oh no, the audio is playing underneath. How do I get rid of that audio from that video? There's two ways. You see how my cursor just changed when I went down on that audio waveform? I could drag that up and down, or I could come back up into this top right corner where it says audio, and I can use this slider. So I can just drag the volume all the way down. And then now listen.
If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
The tool is CapCut. So to edit the audio and video, you can use CapCut. And another reason why audio is cool is because you can enhance your voice in here. You can reduce the noise. If you have a lot of background noise, I actually have a video coming out on my social media channels where I share tips about video editing and just content creation in general. Vocal isolation is a great one if you have a lot of background noise. I have a little son. He's about 18 months old. So he's always in here running around. If he was, playing with his toys, I could actually just use vocal isolation, get rid of the background noise completely. Really, really cool. I have a really good video coming out. And if we have enough time at the end, I'll actually show you guys.
If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
Okay. So one thing I noticed is the changing background is a little bit distracting on what I'm trying to say at the end. So what I want to do is just grab two really nice freeze frames and just use that. So that's a nice freeze frame. And let's see another one. And that's a pretty nice one. I wish you could see a little bit more of the bath, but I think I'm just going to use that one. I'm going to use that on the follow my page for more part. And so now we have our two last freeze frames. And then you'll notice I'm actually pointing to the wrong side. So I have a bordered like check just to make sure that you don't put your words up too high or too low. So in the red section, you'll notice on the right-hand side, you have your follow button, your like button, the comment button. You don't want to be putting too many things in those areas because people might not be able to actually see it depending on what phone they have. So that's why I kind of use that. And I can, mirrored the wrong one. And I can mirror myself. So now I'm actually pointing to the right side. So it's good to always use like a safe area template like I have in this one. You can always get them from Google, or if you want me to email you that as well, I can include it in my email. So don't worry. Let me type back to this comment. So now we have a viral video almost about 80% done. The last thing that we need to do is really add some captions and we're good to go. But let's just watch it how it is now.
This is what 475K really buys you in Texas. Now, when most people watch this, they're probably thinking, wow, I'm about to move to Texas right now. But beware of this common trick because what realtors aren't showing you is the location of these properties. Now, this house is in McAllen, Texas, which is close to the US-Mexico border. Now, look what 475K gets you in Dallas, Houston, and Austin. If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
Okay. So the only thing that I was actually thinking about kind of tweaking a little bit is kind of rotating myself on this side. So then when I point to Dallas, just kind of helps with that separation. Also, I did notice myself on this one, right before I'm getting ready to start pointing, I'm going to kind of clean that up at the end. So I'm just going to just drag both of those.
Buy or sell, follow my page for more.
Just made it super clean, just a little micro adjustment. So never, don't worry about being a perfectionist on your own work. Make sure you do that because the quality will always pay off in the end. So now the last thing that we need to do is add some captions. And CapCut made this so easy for us. Back in the day, guys, I literally had to type out every single individual word for my captions. It was so awful and so painful to do. And then once they started doing these AI auto-generated captions, for an editor's life, it saved so much time. So what we can just do is come up here into this captions tab, or we can also go to the text tab up here, either or. We can click on the auto captions and then we can just hit generate. So from there, it's just gonna, make a transcript for you. And now we have captions. So because I said 475, like I said 4 and then 75, it's very exact. So be careful with that. I just have to delete that space. And usually there's a couple of areas on here where you'll see the captions aren't there. So we just need to make sure that we fix that. And then that. So now the captions are there, but they're not necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing. So how can we change that? We can actually go up into the templates up in the top right corner where I'm able to edit these captions, like the actual words. And you'll see that CapCut gave us hundreds of caption templates. So whatever suits your brand and your style, they probably are going to have it. If not, you can always customize it by coming into here, selecting one of their many hundreds of fonts that they have on hand. It just keeps on going. And yeah, it's really, really cool. So I'm going to use something that's a little bit simple like this. I can come back over in here. Let's say I want all my words to be capitalized. I can hit the uppercase button. If I wanted them to be all lowercase, I could do that. Or if I wanted it to be the first letter capital, I could do that as well. So I'm going to go all capitals, and I'm going to drag this up to a little bit below my chin. That's one of the best areas where you can keep your captions. You don't want them too low because then that viewer can't really see you through their peripheral. And you don't want them too high because it's just a really bad practice. Again, you want them to be a little bit below your chin. So in the peripheral, if they're watching the actual video, they're still kind of engaged and connected with you. That's a really big mistake that I see a lot of editors doing where they have their captions way too low. So now
this is what 475K really buys you in Texas.
Okay, so there's a couple of errors on this because I said the 475K. So this template's probably not going to work, or I'd have to refilm it to make sure that it was good. So I want to use something that is going to work well. So that template right here looks like it's actually going to pick it up. Even this one, but this one has a little bit of a shadow. It's a little bit easier to read.
This is what 475K really buys you in Texas. Now, when most people watch this, they're probably thinking, wow, I'm about to move to Texas right now. But beware of this common trick because what realtors aren't showing you is the location of these properties. Now, this house is in McAllen, Texas, which is close to the US-Mexico border. Now, look what 475K gets you in Dallas.
Okay, so you see that space in the 475K. We can actually come back up into here to that basic area where I can adjust my words. If there was a misspelling, the caption did something, especially with names, you might need to readjust it. I can just get rid of that and it fixed it.
What 475K gets you in Dallas.
And then you'll notice that there was a little tail end of Dallas on this that I needed to get rid of.
75K gets you in Dallas, Houston, and Austin. If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house that you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
Okay, and then let's say we want to add the little cherry on top. I could come into the stickers tab, hit or type out follow. I could grab a little follow sticker just to add a little cherry on top, and then where I'm pointing and put it over my shoulder. Very similar to where the actual follow button would be.
Follow my page for
on the social media platforms. So now
this is what 475K really buys you in Texas. Now, when most people watch this, they're probably thinking, wow, I'm about to move to Texas right now. But beware of this common trick because what realtors aren't showing you is the location of these properties. Now, this house is in McAllen, Texas, which is close to the US-Mexico border. Now, look what 475K gets you in Dallas,
Houston, and Austin. If you're interested in more real estate content or have a house that you want to buy or sell, follow my page for more.
It was that simple, guys. So we edited that in about 20-ish minutes. Took me about 5 minutes to film. And that video right there could get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially even a million views, especially if the comments get going on there and they really push it throughout the algorithm. So that is exactly how we create a viral video cheat code. So I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes answering your guys' questions. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to drop them down in the chat section. Make sure that you guys get your viral video cheat code ebook. Make sure that you guys also get the whiteboard. And I hope to see some of you guys on a personal one-on-one coaching session, because it would be really, really cool to help you guys through this viral video journey and get you guys a viral video. Any questions from you guys? No questions, no questions, no social media questions. How to come up with a viral topic. This was an awesome webinar. I have so much to learn. Thank you, Ashley. Yes, absolutely. Feel free to email me any questions that you have. So coming up with the viral topic, usually you know like your industry the best. So for me in our industry, we probably talk about some of the practices that people do on social media, maybe some of the video editing techniques. So I could just find a couple of good videos where they're edited really well, and then I could speak on those techniques. That would be something. With like real estate, you can find videos that you're just seeing on your own where you're probably like, it's probably not true, or it's a little bit misleading, and you could speak on that. So with your own algorithms and like your social media pages, there's probably a gold mine of videos that you're swiping by that that topic pertains to you and your industry that you could be talking about. So really you need to just spend about 15 to 30 minutes on social media scrolling, doing the doom scroll, but look at the videos in a different perspective now. Usually we watch them for entertainment. Now start to watch them as like, can I talk about this? Can I use this video as something? Is there a talking point in there that I can make a video about? So that's how I would do it. I'm in skincare. Oh yeah. So 100%. So, this is an extreme, but let's say, for example, there is videos where Dr. Pimple Popper, right? You could use like the first 3 seconds of that, because you know that you're going to have that viewer engaged for that first 3 seconds. Those videos get millions and millions of views. Pimples apply to every single person. If you've never had a pimple in your life, then congrats to you, because it would be absolutely crazy. And, I would probably just use that as my hook, because now I know I got that viewer in, and then I could probably just talk about, some skincare routines. Here are a couple of tips for how to get healthy skin.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for instance, like I've been doing what you said. I actually went into my creator studio and just kind of watching some of the viral videos and trying to use some things, and I found out too CapCut or Canva is what they're doing. I'm like, how are they editing these videos and making them like this? Like, there's only so much you can do in the TikTok app itself,
Right.
So, but because I didn't know how to do that, what I did was my thing was the thumbnail, keeping people interested in the video. So I noticed my views I had some that were like 1,700. That's big for me. It's not on the scale of what you're doing, but like for me is a big thing, because like I'm used to like 200, 300, because it was engaging, but maybe not as much. So I started watching things in my skincare, in my industry, and trying to come up with my own and being authentic, not really copying, but still taking some techniques. And then the last videos, within minutes of me posting them, was like 600 views, 700. With the first one was like, just the thumbnail said TikTok approved,
right?
With a check mark. And then it went on. So I was kind of excited about that, but I want to get it higher because my things, I'm getting the views, but I'm not getting the likes. I'm like, you guys are looking at it, but you're not liking it. Y'all don't understand as a business what that means for us. And it's not just about liking something or not. It's like we need that for algorithm purposes for other people, you know, for TikTok to actually put our page on the front or whatever, you know.
100%.
So that was one of my things with the likes. Like, is the way that you're telling us, is that going to help with the likes as well as keeping them interested?
Oh, 100%.
Video.
You know, the more views that you're going to get, most of the time, usually the more likes that you get. As long as you hit into the right audience, you know, there really is no give or tell of what audience is going to get you. But, you know, for the most part, 100%, you're going to get a lot of likes with these videos. Now, on social media, you're always going to have, you can never make everyone happy. So you're always going to have those naysayers and like the haters in the comments. But we actually prefer that, because when people do that, they're I prefer, and some, you know, my buddies, my social media buddies, we love it because they're pushing the video even further. They don't realize like they're hating on like the inside, but on the outside, like they're pushing the video further and further.
Right.
And my camera cut off. Hold on. And they are actually
time
helping.
out. It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
It's got a timer on there. So it is definitely going to help you with your likes. Actually, really quick, talking about legal restrictions, as long as you are not using movie clips, which are heavily copyrighted under like law, you'll be okay with this. So there was actually a big lawsuit about reaction videos. And, you know, are they original? Do they belong to the original creator? And the courts actually decided in the people making the reaction videos. There's a couple of big creators with millions of subscribers who got into that lawsuit, and they actually won because they deemed that when you react to a video and like you alter it, it becomes another piece of original content. So you can, this is fully legal for you to do. As long as you're not using like movie clips where, you know, there's, movie clips, music, again, is another one, like on YouTube. If that song isn't uploaded to actual like YouTube and you're monetizing your videos, then you might get a copyright, you know, warning. Most of the time with it, the music side, they don't actually count as a strike. It just says, hey, you can't make any money off of this video. You have to you know, give up all of your rights to making money, and the original song creator or copyright holder makes all the money. So it's completely legal. It counts as an original piece of content, especially when you start to add the captions. I know it might not make everyone happy. You know, it makes you feel better. Try to credit the original creator that you took the video from, so it kind of makes them feel a little bit better. Make sure that if your video gets millions of views, you know, you give them their credit as well.
Shout out. Right. And so for I don't know if everybody is thinking the same thing. So is there a app where you can kind of make your own music if you want background? I mean, because nobody wants to have just, you know, you talking in the background, or like how you had your music in the back. Is there a app where you can just get or your own music, like maybe an instrumental, or make your own music, like on YouTube when you have themes and stuff like that? Because a lot of people are not using copywritten stuff. So would you know what apps that is, or just Google it? Probably. I just Google it and see.
Yeah, so you can use platforms like Storyblocks, and then there is Envato where they have instrumentals. But the good thing about it is, I'm trying to think of the other one that we use. What is it called? Motion Array. Motion Array has really good music too. But the cool thing about it is most of these social media platforms actually embed the sound. So the viral music on there, you can use that as long as it's on, like where you can find like the sounds, like let's say Beyonce, for example. As long as it's already uploaded to YouTube and you can make a short on it, completely legal, completely good, and you can monetize it. That's where the songs that aren't already added to these platforms, and they're really good at adding them, because obviously the more videos using that music, the more, you know, likeness and awareness to that actual song or that artist. So they actually do prefer that. So I don't like to use instrumentals for that reason. especially because
Okay.
every week there's always like a new trending like song, or there's like sounds that you can use.
Yeah, that's
Just,
true.
make sure that you can find it, because and they also have auto recognition where, let's say you didn't use that like let's say you didn't add the music, like when I'm editing an Instagram reel. Instagram's really good at just auto applying the tag of like, hey, this is the song on there, and there's no strikes or anything like that.
Okay, because
So
I've
that's
had
how
that
we do it.
problem where I've actually had videos that I've posted with the music from TikTok
Yep.
that's already uploaded in TikTok. But I would always go back through all of my videos, and I went back through a video and a couple, and they had a like block on it because of the music. And I'm like, you just had this song here. So
Yeah.
they gave you other options to change it. So I'm like, so that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, I won't
TikTok's
take up your
a
time.
weird
Somebody
one.
else might have a question. I'm done.
Oh no, you're good. No, TikTok's a weird one with that too, where like we had a lot of good videos too, where they muted the audio, and that's more of like a corporate side where that music group's company probably is battling with TikTok something payment wise,
In other
and that's
countries and stuff.
why
Yeah.
they actually blocked it. But I appreciate all of you guys in here. Make sure, I'm pretty sure I have most of your emails. You guys will get a recorded copy of this webinar. My email was on the whiteboard, so make sure you take the whiteboard link just so you have kind of a version of this. Also, download the Viral Video Cheat Code ebook. So you'll have my information in there. I'll go ahead and copy and paste that again. And you will have kind of the written version of this webinar too in a PDF form, super easy to access. And that will have all of my social media profiles where you can reach me. I really appreciate all of you guys taking the time to, join this, learn about viral videos and increasing your social media reach. It's really important in today's age. And I hope to see some of you guys making some viral videos, commenting back and like, Jordan, I got 100,000 views on this video. It'd be really, really cool to see.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of you guys. Yes, thank you. I hope you guys have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too. Bye, everybody.